Hey everybody, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, and I am recording this introduction while I'm in San Francisco. Monday, the 24th of September. Just had two amazing interviews. Listen, I know I say amazing all the time because seriously, it never ceases to amaze me who I am dealing with, who is right in front of me, and today was no exception. I can't wait. I'll tell you about the names another time. Got some more tomorrow, also some more on Wednesday. So really exciting time here. I want to mention that if you missed last week's episode, you have to check it out because, again, another wonderful conversation. It was with Pablo Oliveira of Nuage Designs. Be sure to check that out. And today's guest, who we are releasing when you hear this, is Ines and Veronica de Santo. Ines is recognized as a leading designer of bridal and evening couture that captures the essence of sophisticated glamour and is favored by discerning retailers, brides, and celebrity red carpet events worldwide. And Veronica, her daughter, is the managing partner, essentially running the business with the president of the company and an integral part of Ines's inspiration. And I feel so fortunate to have been able to meet them after hearing them speak at Engage last June in Banff. And I was immediately taken by both of them. Just their humility, gentleness, their obvious deep inner strength really shone through on both of them. And when I interviewed them later in the day, I felt so moved that toward the end, I went in a very different direction with the conversation and became even more deeply moved, and you will hear it very shortly. Don't forget to listen to the follow-on episode of The Next Level, in which my co-host and I tease out some of the highlights of this incredible interview and help to break them down and deliver specific tactics and tips to help you raise your business to the next level. So be sure to listen to that as well. So enjoy my conversation with Ines and Veronica de Santo. So Ines and Veronica, it is such a pleasure to have you on my show. I'm so honored. I so much enjoyed your talk yesterday at Engage and had the pleasure to be able to have dinner with you both too, which I think was serendipitous. You both are so genuine, passionate, feelingful, like every moment, every word, and yet you're also running a business, right? A very successful empire. And it just really strikes me how calm and, again, so in the moment, in the present you are. And so I would love to hear a little bit of the story, first of all, just from the beginning, Ines, if you don't mind. And I know that you've told this story numerous times, and so we don't have to maybe do all the details. I know that I remember from your talk you were saying how when you were around 6 years old, because I'm always curious where, and I'm going to come to you too, Veronica, I'm always curious about where a passion gets ignited and how people discover that and feel it at such a young age. It's so interesting to me what that's about. So, Ines, you had mentioned that at 6, I believe you were already dressing or creating clothes for your 9-month-old sister. Is that right?
Yes. Well, start before that. You know what? First, I wanted to thank you, Andy, to invite me here. Okay, It's such an honor to be with you.
Thank you.
All the time, I think design was my thing. I drew sketches when I was maybe 4 years old. Tried to do at 4 years old. I had a lot of dolls, and I did. My mom, she had a factory. She used to manufacture shirts for men.
Oh.
Okay, so, and I had access to material. Then all my dolls, they have the most beautiful color dresses. And the first time, at 4 years old, I tried to sew, and I couldn't put the needle. I have to ask my mother, please, put the needle. And I was sewing, around the dolls.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is my first. Then my sister, well, she was my other doll, and put my sister, 9 months old. I put her on the top of the table. I pick up a piece of material, a scissor and pins, and I put the material on top of her, and I cut around her.
Oh my God! I'm trying to picture this.
Pins. Oh my God!
You're 6 years old doing this?
6 years old. Oh 5 years old, I started to be a little bit aggressive, because I had a friend of mine, and he came to the house. And I wanted to do a pants for him.
Yes.
And then I remember I put the material on top of him. I cut around, and with the needle, I started to sew. No?
Oh my God! With it.
And then he couldn't take that. His name was Anthony. Yeah, I never forgot. And he stays. He was older than me. He stays still to me to play.
So what happened as you were starting to get older? I mean, into your teens, were you just doing more of this? How was this going for you?
Yes, all the time, in the time when I was a teenager, I wanted to teach fashion. I was so important for me because I had access to the magazine because my father, he was working for a printing house, and then he was doing the cover of the fashion magazine. And then I used to see those magazines and fashion. I say one day I'm going to teach fashion.
Wow, and this is in Buenos Aires?
It's in Buenos Aires in Argentina. Then I went to Buenos Aires. My teacher worked for Christian Dior, and he created his own team, and I studied there.
Oh, you did?
He was so nice. He used to say to me when I was older, and I spent a lot of time with him. He was an inspiration for me. And he said to me, if Christian Dior was alive, he would be jealous of your regime.
Oh my God. How old were you when this happened?
I was in that time 16.
Oh my God.
16, 17. I went to study in Italy, tailoring.
And you are Italian too.
I'm Italian, and I born in Italy. I grew up in Buenos Aires. But I studied tailoring with Antonio Cavasso in Milan. I wanted to do the jacket, to have that correct fit for a man. And then I did tailoring, I did pattern, I finished. And then I went to Esmond in Paris. And, I was ready already to teach because I was studying in Buenos Aires, and my sister and I in a private school, and then I went to a fashion school. I was very occupied all the time. I did, I went to school early in the morning, and then I take courses, and then I went private. I wanted to teach fashion.
Yes, and also at the time, weren't you married? Didn't you tell me you got married at 17?
I got married so young. That was good. But this was the time, and I remember they used to take, if older than 20, it's very difficult to get married,
Yeah, my mother used to tell me, I think she was 25 when she got married. She said her parents were like, so what's going on?
Yeah.
You're 25 years old.
I lived a very good life in Buenos Aires. I spent a lot of time with my father. My father, since I was 5 years old, he used to take me to the theaters to see, because I had it all the time. I wanted something more. I wanted to see something more. I remember when I was maybe even before than that, I say to my father, please, can you take me to the zoo? I was picture, my tooth was bigger like the zoo, and I wanted to compare my tooth with the hippo to see how.
Wow.
I drove my father crazy. and every day, every weekend, they used to take me out.
Yeah.
Okay? And, the life in Buenos Aires was beautiful. My parents, they dedicate me a lot of time. On the weekend, we used to go to the pizza theater. And I remember one time, and, I was, 5 years old, and my mother, she did for me a white dress with little dots.
You remember this? Okay.
I remember many things.
Yeah.
Okay. I was fascinated by shoes. I have an addiction. My addiction today is shoes.
It is, okay.
I saw in the window those shoes. Then I tried to sit in the floor. I clean up a little bit to sit, and I say to my parents, I think you should go for the pizza because the store is closed. I need a new pair of shoes.
So you're in your upper teens at this point. What happens next when you're finished with school and training?
Well, after all the training, I was very excited. Already I'm going to go and teach. They hired me to teach in the school I study.
Okay. And you're about, 20 at this point?
I was 20, to almost 22. Okay. I was 22.
All right.
And I was, I was so excited. It was so beautiful. And I did love my teachers. They inspired my whole life. And then, I was teaching, was happy, I was settled. And all the time, I wanted to have a daughter. My biggest dream in my life to have a daughter. I chose Veronica's name when I was 15. I was watching a movie. The movie was taped in Verona. I say Vero. Then I say Veronica. And then the actress, was Veronica Hewson, was Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, ready, I'm going to have a family. And I was very happy. But all of a sudden, things change. The things change when you less expect.
Yes.
I was, young. It was, the school I studied, it's nobody cared about politics. We cared about fashion.
Yes.
But it was around school, around there, very, important school. And, the political problems create, as you know, people start to disappear. I studied in the time when I was there. We didn't care so much about politics. I wanted to have my family. I wanted to teach, but in the time of La Junta, I had to leave in very short time.
Wow.
The country.
And just by yourself. Why not your father, other people?
It's just the problem is that young generation, 18, 20, 30 was, it was not a problem for my sister because it's younger. It was not a problem. It's just in that period of time, that age group, okay?
They were targeting dissidents and trying to silence the younger generation. So whether you were active politically and voicing your opinions, or you were silent and very non-political, they were trying to send a message.
Well, and that's also the future, right? Cut down the young future. Wow. What did your father say about this?
My father said, you have to leave.
Yeah.
It's not safe. Then, I didn't have no choice. Very short time, but I was very close to my family. And then I moved to Canada. Thanks, Canada, to open the door.
Why Toronto?
It's Toronto because they opened the door. Well, I could go to the States, and a lot of friends went in Israel. That I saw a lot of people, a lot of Italian people. We thought was good,
Did you know anyone there, Ines, when you arrived?
In that moment, I didn't know. I had my ex-husband family had someone there, but I didn't know them. Okay, they were paid today. They are my best friend.
But they took you in, basically.
Yeah, but I was by myself. I went in a country with, you don't know anyone.
I can't imagine. With a suitcase. I mean, I'm trying to picture you're leaving this beautiful life that you're just describing to me, right? This career you're starting to build, the friends, the mentors, your family. I can't imagine how you did this. I mean, people might say courage, but you had no choice, right? That's probably how you look at it.
Well, it's we didn't have no choice. Well, we have a choice to stay there and see.
That's
that
a good
can
point.
Happen.
Right.
But, when your parents tell it's better if you leave, and a lot of people leave, okay? And also, maybe my father thought was a better future for us to be safe in another country.
Did you have any money when you arrived?
No, because you can bring only $200.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So you're 22, you're coming by yourself, you don't have much money. What do you do?
Well, I started to work. Okay, I went to a place, and I was looking for a place, and I say I'm a designer, and was Richet, who was very famous designer. I went there and looked at me and say, "Oh, you cannot be a designer," But yes, after I was there, I put it and I started to do pattern for him. After a week already, I wasn't.
So he started to realize that you had some talent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. After a week.
Yeah.
I was already doing pattern for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
How serendipitous that you were able to meet this person when you arrived.
How I met this, I was looking and things, and then I met one person, and I, say where I can go, and this was a big opportunity for me. And then, you don't know anyone, you don't have no money, you have to create your own thing.
Yeah.
Okay? And then, things happen so fast. I was doing pattern for a boutique. I was expecting a baby. I didn't know I was expecting a baby. After I drained so much, I wait so much for this happen. When I'm in a country, I don't have my family, which I want to share.
You find out that you're pregnant.
Yes. I was so happy. Like, you have no idea this feeling in that moment. And then you have somebody inside of you.
Wow.
And you expecting for such a long time. It was wonderful. But I have to think in that moment, I saw, oh, I'm going to have a baby. I have to give something to this baby. Then I was in a boutique, and this boutique, it was called Adeline Boutique. And she said, Ines, do you like to do a dress? And another opportunity. My heart jumps, again. I did a wedding gown. I put it in the window. The wedding gown was beautiful. She was so
This
happy.
is the first one that you had done?
The first wedding gown
you put it in the window.
In the window, and the girls passing by, getting to the boutique, they bought the dress, they bought it, but came one girl, she came from France. She was, very young. Her name was Vincenza, and came to the boutique and asked Adeline if she give a discount. She doesn't have the budget. All the time. She came there for a month looking at this dress. And I say to Adeline, please, can you give a discount? I help you to do the dress. She doesn't have the budget. I'm going to put my time.
Yeah.
She said, you do it. I say, how are you going to do it? I don't have a machine. I don't have a table. I don't have nothing.
Yeah.
How are you going to do it? But that day, that afternoon, a friend of mine called me, and she said, Ines, I saw a machine in the garbage. I say, please, girl.
That day?
That day, I jump. You have no idea. That feeling. I say, I can do something. Wow. And that day, the machine came, I say, I'm going to fix it. I have to fix the machine. I clean, I shine. I think I spent that time, if I had a new car or something new, I felt like I won the lottery.
Wow.
With that machine.
Yeah.
Next day, the girl, she's passing by again, and I say, if you buy the material, I will do the wedding gown for you. And, she said yes. She was very happy. She didn't have the budget. She just came from France. I did the wedding gown for her. I cut in the floor in my apartment. I saw the dress. I finished the dress. Then I say, I want something more with this machine. But I had left only $10.
Okay.
But there was a place they sell leftovers. And it was all rolled, the leftovers. And I bought 10 pieces.
Yeah.
With those 10 pieces, I did sample. I did dresses, and I showed to the company in Toronto. And I was selling the patterns with my samples.
Wow.
And this was
incredible
in the beginning.
And I know that you had told the story about then wanting to produce your own fashion show and weren't able to get what you needed. And I know that you went to a bank, and you then, how did you get a bank? Because I know the story was that they did give you the loan so you could do the show. How did you convince them to do that with no collateral?
Well, I told I have all the time I wanted something more, and I say to my friend, the one from the machine, I say, I wanted to do a fashion show. She said, you crazy? A fashion show? You have no money. But yes, I had the idea. I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to ask for the money. I went to the bank. I asked an appointment with the manager. Well, they give me the appointment. I prepare how I'm going to do a fashion show, and, was based in Erte. And when she saw me, she said, I say, I wanted to do a fashion show. I'm going to base it in Erte. I'm going to have so many models, all the sketches of what I'm going to do. And she said, do you have a collateral? I say, no. What you have? I say, I have nothing. But you know what? Was the Royal Bank of Canada. Her name was Susan Hagman, but she believed in me.
Wow.
She gave me $4,500.
Incredible.
And I planned the show at Casa Loma. It's a famous castle in Toronto.
Yeah, and it was the first fashion show there at that venue.
They never did a fashion show there.
Yeah.
Okay. It was the first one, but today they do a lot of parties. It's
And you had something very special at that fashion show.
Yes, because when I designed the fashion show, based on Erte, is a picture of a paint of Erte with a tiger.
Yes.
And I had the model, which I did the makeup myself to the model as a tiger.
Yeah.
Okay? And she opened the show with a tiger.
That's incredible. Oh my God, I can't imagine. That must have been stunning. And from what I understand, this was a very successful fashion show, right? You sold all the samples?
Yeah, it was very good, because also I didn't have the money to buy the material. Enough money, $4,500. I rent the place, the model, the music, and the hair. The makeup I did myself. But I had it very special lady, which I met on my break. I used to go there. It's called Novas Textile. It was a big company in wholesale. And she asked me, you know how to do color one day, no? And I say, yes. I say, and you have so many laces there in the corner. Why you don't color and sell? Since that day, we become friends. And she actually give me the opportunity to choose all the material. I didn't pay in that time, but she said, honey, don't worry.
Wow.
If you sell, you pay me. I had to pressure everybody should be paid. There is no one thing you take something and don't pay. And then when I sold all my samples, in that week I sold all the samples. In that week, I pay everybody.
My gosh. And just for context here, had you already had Veronica?
Oh, yes.
She had been born at this point.
I was at that show.
How old were you at that point?
I remember it. I remember it like yesterday.
Eight.
You know what I was thinking too? What if you had the name Veronica, you wanted to go? What if it had been a boy named Veronica?
No. I don't know. I will think something, but that, when she born, is the happiest day of my life, the best day of my life. And I thank God every day, every night. I don't want nothing without Veronica. She's my life. She's my inspiration. She's the best thing I have.
Well, Veronica, so what do you remember from as young as you can possibly remember about having Ines as your mother?
I have such great memories. She always valued work, but had such an incredible balance to be able to give me a lot of attention. And I think to teach me the lessons that I have and hold true to my heart today. So I went to school very close to her atelier, and she would come bring me lunch, and on my birthdays would bring me cakes. But we stayed at that atelier sometimes until midnight.
Which is her studio, just for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, okay. It's her studio. Yeah. And I remember that. I remember the very late nights where she was completing outfits for clients. And she made me a part of that business very young, said, I've got this outfit and it's emerald green and black taffeta. And she's coming to pick it up tomorrow. I think you should make some jewelry for it. And with a glue gun, I'd sit there.
And you're like, what, 6, 7, 8?
Yeah,
okay.
I'd sit there and, with a glue gun and the metal back clips, I would, design some kind of earring to go with the outfit. And she made me a part of that. She made me understand the value of work and how important that is from a really, really young age, which I think is a very important lesson.
And I'm also thinking that your role model in terms of being a woman, really being self-empowered here, right? That you can do this, you can do anything, back then when it was even a little tougher.
Yeah, to do it on your own is astounding. I mean, obviously I'm married, I have a child, and I think about what she was able to accomplish. And even with all the support around me, I still doubt it and think, could I do that? So it's quite incredible. Yeah.
And did you immediately have a passion for this? Or was it more like, well, this is what my mother's given me and this is fun to do? Or did you feel something also at that age for it?
It's funny. I think the life force has been carried through in some kind of way, but I always looked at someone like my mom, who to me is a true artist with a true vision, a true craft, not something that's learned, something that's definitely innately born. And I always thought, well, what's mine? And there was a moment where she needed me in the business. I was completing my university degree, and my passion at the time was film. And I thought that that was my career. That's where I was going to go. And so she needed me. Something happened in the business, and it was a critical moment where she said, Veronica, I need you to come in and help me. So I wrapped up my degree and was there and found that, she needs me, and I'm going to have to, do everything I can to help her out. And then it just became part of my passion, and it was very organic. I can't really describe it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you did it. You're saying it did become your passion.
It did. I didn't realize that. I thought I needed to find my own thing, and I had. Yeah. And then this distraction came up where she said, I really need you, and I need you in here full days. Mm-hmm. So I came in, and from there I thought, I'm pretty good at this, and maybe this is my passion.
What exactly, in terms of your role?
I think she brought me in to help manage and sell. And I believe that, what I mean by pretty good is we would go to do our first market together. And, she always had people that were helping out. But I was like, okay, let's pack the truck. Let's go to New York. And, we started out in the early beginning doing it that way, where we would drive from Toronto. And then, we'd prepare our selling materials, and I would help her sell, and I would help her organize. And, it's not easy. She had to focus on the design part.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's also the struggle of balancing the art and the business, right? I mean, it's wonderful to, be this very gifted fashion designer, but then to actually be able to earn a living so that you can do this. It's how do you meld the two?
Yeah, we did it. We really did it.
We did it. we had to do it. I did before everything. I didn't have anyone to help me. Yeah. And then, I don't know, maybe it was on us. I don't know. We did. And
so in a sense, you were discovering this together and making up the rules for it. So you didn't really have a model for this, did you?
No.
That's incredible. Yeah. So there must have been pitfalls along the way.
There were pitfalls.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I didn't plan to be in here and show my dresses in New York. It just happened because I was helping everybody.
Yeah.
I did couture after the fashion show. I did couture. Then I get material from Italy. I had the exclusive of Valentino materials, Christian Lacroix material.
How did you get the exclusives of this?
On the material, yes. In that time was a company in Italy, and I had the exclusive in Toronto because I did couture. After that fashion show, I started to do couture. My clients,
they were recognizing what you had.
They recognized because they had. It's amazing how things happen. I think God has a plan for us because the people who had it, fashion business, is the one, my client, to do the weddings, to go to a party.
Well, you said something that really struck me a moment ago. You said something about because you were helping people so much. Can you say a little bit more about that? Because I think it's putting that out into the universe, right? Putting out that energy. Can't define it. But isn't that what you're talking about?
Yes. Well, you never be afraid to help someone, because I think comes 10 times more to you. I think I did come to me because whatever today I didn't expect, and my expectation was to teach, and I'm a designer. I design, I breathe fashion. But the most important thing and why I am here in this company, what we create, is when I decide to move in the state, but was not really my decision. I was helping companies and who manufacture wedding gowns, evening wears, and they were already in the state, will be more international. I see.
That's how you got the distribution then.
No, the distribution not from them. I created it. Because I helped them in a way, Ines, what you think will go in this time? And I say, don't be like there is dresses in there. Go different. I think you should go in this direction. I think you should go different shapes. try to use different laces, be different. And all of them, and they were manufactured dresses. And one friend of mine, because after so many years, he came, very good friend in that time, he said to me, it's enough, Ines. He owns a company, it's called Paloma Blanca. And he said to me, Ines, it's enough. You help everybody, come with us to New York. But don't bring the samples you have, the new sample.
Yeah.
Bring the older samples. Okay. And I went there, and that was on 2097 October, just to show, to see. And I got 5 dresses.
Yeah.
And I got 5 stores.
What year
in
was
that
that?
day? 1997. My first collection was 1998. April 1998 is 20 years.
Wow, which is how many years after coming to Toronto? Do you remember? 1998, roughly?
I came 1975.
75.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Wow, incredible. Your first collection.
My first collection. I did couture. I was happy to do couture. Just happened, and I'm very happy because there is always opportunity. And if you believe in people the way I believe, there is always someone there gonna help you, because they help me a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
And back to what you were saying, that energy, I mean, I believe she lives her life that way every day. And it's a beautiful gift to be given by a parent, to learn and feel that. I think I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
She's much more giving. I'm trying to be more giving. And I've always protected her, her being the single mother, and clients would come and pick up their outfits. And they'd be like, I'm here to pick up my outfit. And I'd be like, okay, well, that's $2,400.
Oh,
He'd be like, well, I don't have the money right now. And I'd be like, well, I can take a check. And I always found that I was,
thank God.
I was in protective mode.
Interesting.
And so I think you're a product of your experiences. So I was always defensive. I was always protective.
Interesting.
Where she was always explosively open and giving, and back to, that life force and that energy and putting that into the universe. She lives her life that way every day. And so the universe has this beautiful way of giving you what you need when you need it. If you trust in that.
Right. Got to be open and trust it.
Got to trust that. Yeah. And so I'm learning that lesson every day.
Did you want to say something, Ines?
Yes, I give even when I didn't have. Like that wedding gown was so important for me. I needed the money. I didn't have no money. But I did that wedding gown. I didn't charge for the gown because she didn't have it. I felt she's exactly like me.
Right.
But she has a dream, like I had my dream. And I wanted to make that dream come true. Even today, I do dresses beautiful. I think are beautiful because they bind. But thanks all those brides who support and buy my dresses, I am here today. And it's sometimes you cannot give all the time because we have to survive. But it's nice when you give. You don't have to give money. Sometimes it's the affection.
Yes.
Sometimes it's how
yeah.
you talk to a person. Because giving is not only money. It's a lot of things we can give.
And I also like about how, I looked up some information on you all. It's even interesting the way you talk about it there. You mentioned that you're giving a memory to people. Like that's your perspective on this also, right? With the wedding gowns. Can you say something more about that? Of
course. To me, a wedding gown is a history. Well, we have to thank all the photographers they kept that special moment. Because after, you don't remember if you don't look, but we have the picture. But the most important thing, that day, the day of the wedding, okay, is such a special day, okay, and you wanted to have that beautiful moment. And the moment, in the memory, in the experience, all those feelings, they go together, okay? Why? Because it's something you pass to your children, to your grandchildren. Okay. And it's so special and unique because there is so many feeling. When I design a dress, I put my heart on the dress because I want to make that person happy and have the most beautiful experience and the most beautiful moment.
And isn't it such a vulnerable position to be in? I mean, you were married, Veronica. I mean, wearing the gown, and you're the center of attention for everything, right? This is a really major part of it, isn't it?
Yes, of course. You have to be, I think it's so important to be yourself, even when you choose the wedding gown, okay? I think the wedding gown, you have to feel it. Because how you choose a wedding gown? There is many, no? But there is one who fits your personality, your figure, and the way you want it to show with the person you love. You want it to look good for the person you love, special for him.
Yeah.
And then he loves you the way you are, has to be your personality. This is how I believe as a designer.
Yeah. And so when you talk about the history of the person, all of this is connected. You know, I also read in this site, talked about using techniques that are often found only in couture design. And I believe you said the feminine side of a woman's beauty in both her bridal and evening collections. Can you say something about that too?
Well, we have different techniques because we show the part we wanted to show. There is a technique, your waist looks smaller, you contour your hips, you know, it's the way you want it to look.
Yeah.
But there is a technique to show your figure much better. Because everybody in that day, I think it's the center of the attention. It's like you going to an Oscar and everybody's looking at you. And we use those techniques to make the figure better, to show whatever we wanted to show.
Well, and again, we're coming back to the vulnerability, right, that a woman would feel in that position. And so what a gift that you're giving to, you know, with doing that.
And we have a technique, you can look 10 pounds smaller.
Oh.
15 pounds smaller.
And they feel better.
And
when
they feel
put
better.
something on.
If you look better when you feel better. How you choose your dress is exactly how you choose the man you're going to get married, because it's about feeling.
Or your partner, it's the same thing. Well,
right. Thank you for saying that. Right. And I saw that too, that it's all about how a bride feels.
Yes. Everything is about feeling.
What is a typical day like for both of you? I would love to know that now, today.
Typical day for me is, well, we have our studio in Toronto, just north of Toronto, and that's where all the magic happens. We make all of our collections there, and we make all of our gowns there. We have an incredible team and staff, and we have many departments that make all this magic happen. So from production to design to finance to administration, all of these departments function in a way that each one stays on track, and that's with meetings and goals. And so my job is to, as a managing partner, is to work hand in hand with our president, Don Bromander, who's based in Minneapolis. And we work very well together. And Don and I, we speak daily, and we always have, she as the president has a great vision and has a long-term vision of what we're to achieve. And then Ines and I are on the ground making sure that all of that connects and happens in a way that pushes the company forward.
And I think I heard that you, Veronica, check out every single design. Is that right?
That's
Before
Ines.
It goes further?
That's Ines.
Oh, I thought you also then look after. Yeah, okay.
No, so Ines is the one that makes sure that every design that comes into play has her seal of approval and her signature. I mean, I'm definitely in on the design meetings, but it's her. That's her.
Yeah. Aren't we talking an enormous amount of work here?
It is, but I have a great team, okay? And, you know, when I go to work in the morning, it's different. Because I go, you know, everybody say to me, how all the time you are so happy when you go to work.
Yeah.
Even my husband.
Okay.
I'm so happy, you have no idea.
Yeah.
I go there and I wanted everybody to be happy because I believe in energy. And I create something to make a dream, and the energy has to be positive. I tell my employees.
For your team.
For my team, I tell, we have to, but if they had it, you know, not such a good day, I say, well, I think you have to take a little break, because when you touch that dress, has to be the most beautiful energy you can put in. You have to be positive. I make a dream. I wanted this good energy to everybody.
Yeah. You know, and it's my impression of you, and I get it with you too, Veronica, is that genuinely really content and happy, you know, and I wonder how, you know, in this business, you know, of creatives, right, in this industry, I don't know I almost feel like there is maybe an extra sensitivity to all of this. How do you maintain such happiness, contentment? How do you deal with life's challenges? And you had such a difficult situation having to leave Buenos Aires and family and all that. And yet, in spite of suffering, you're still able to have such joy.
Well, I can tell you, I think my past, I left in the past, but I still thinking, because for me, the most terrible thing is because I left my family. Mm-hmm. All the time I think about my family, and I did cry about my family. Mm-hmm. But that because I had suffered so much for that, I try to enjoy what is tomorrow. I say all the time, even to my employees, I'm a person at the future, not all the past. I wanted to enjoy and be happy and appreciate things, because happiness is by moment. If we take every moment and we can make it something good and better, and smile and be happy and make someone happy, this is the most important thing. I want people to live happy. There is a lot of things around doesn't make us happy. Especially today. And if you think, we have to think in that moment, trying the solution, how we can help people in the problem, but also we have to be happy, because we have to inspire other people to be happy. They have to have this feeling about happiness, because the life is meant to be enjoyed. It's up to us how we're going to enjoy. I say all the time, life is beautiful. It's what we make of our life, what we can achieve in our life, because everything is important. I believe in love. We can live without money. We can live without a lot of things we don't have, but we cannot live without love. We need the love of a child, the love of a husband, the mother. Love is everywhere. It's how a person wants to find that love. But it's up to each one of us to look for and find.
I think our challenge as human beings is to do great things, to be able to support ourselves and to be able to inspire and touch people and be inspired by people on the way and somehow make a living at it. Really, that's the sweet spot that I think we're all looking for.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's why we're all at this conference too, right? Is to get that help, get inspiration.
Yeah. But it's phenomenal. You put so many people in a room that are open to that life force, and really they want to bring it in and they want to bring it back into the universe. And when you've got that, it's like the power of prayer. People that get together and pray, they're sending those frequencies into the universe. It's bound to come back.
I love that.
Yeah.
I remember one time my father said to me, because, talking, about people, and he was a great businessman, he did very good things for a lot of people. He was very generous. He was very smart. He said to me, there is two ways to the business, but the business will work is be honest and the money will come to you.
That's true.
Whew. I had more questions, but I don't think I could go anywhere from there. Oh my God. Well, let me ask, what are you thinking now about the future, the next several years? I know, Veronica, you had said something, you wouldn't reveal too much, but you said that you have some new ideas. And we talked about also having to constantly reinvent yourself, right? In spite of the success,
Yeah, I feel that in any industry, and whenever there's a shift, which obviously there's an economic shift and there's an obvious shift in our industry, I believe you have to constantly be thinking about what's next. And, you can't just stay where you are, and constantly reinventing yourself, reimagining yourself, diversifying, thinking about all those different strategies are important. So, that's where our headspace is, as a company. And, I'm excited for what the future can bring.
I can't wait to find out what that future will bring. You're still not telling me.
I'm a dreamer. I have ideas all the time.
You have ideas all the time. Yeah, you were telling me, Ines, when we were coming back from the restaurant, that was very well done, Veronica. When we were coming back from the restaurant, we were walking. I think, Ines, you had said you could see a stone in the road or something.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you're constantly seeing just different. Before we go and end this, can you just tell me a little bit more about that? You're endlessly seeing different things.
This is my husband tells me, because all the time I have these ideas, and I go every day in the office and ideas, Veronica. But my husband say to me, because I say this is beautiful all the time. I see beautiful everywhere, no? And I say you walk in the street, you see a big stone and you see the smile. I say I see the smile. I say flowers around. I say painted. This is who I am. I see things.
We try to have lunch every day.
Yeah.
Being that we work together, we have a round table we sit at, and we have lunch every day. And she always starts off that lunch with, you know what, in her accent, you know what, Veronica, I have an idea. And I just know, she's always thinking. Yeah. And she's always been that way.
Well, thank you both so much for sitting down with me. It is serendipitous that we ran into each other at this conference and taking the time. I know you're about to have a meeting and then go to the airport. Thank you both for making time. And I know we talked about my coming to your Toronto studio, right?
Yes, the invitation is open anytime.
Okay, don't forget.
We're waiting for you.
And we have thousands of witnesses right now listening to this.
All right.
I expect to be there.
We're ready.
Right.
In Toronto is beautiful.
I know. I've heard. Well, again, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to my interview of Ines and Veronica de Santo. Wow. Pretty amazing, wasn't it? Check out the show notes at our website at theweddingbiz.com. Do not forget the network that we launched at theweddingbiznetwork.com. You can find it everywhere on our website and social media handles. And the first person to host a show under our network is Julie Sabatino, the stylish bride, with amazing tips. And be sure that you tell your brides about that show. We are getting so much feedback. I want to also ask you all to share these episodes with your friends and colleagues. Be sure to review them if you like them. It really helps new people find us. And don't forget to listen to the next level that goes with this. And next week's guest, you ready for this? Cece Johnson. That's right. Cece, outrageous conversation. You got to check in next week. Trust me on that. So be sure to follow us on Instagram at Wedding Biz Show. Subscribe to the podcast, and we will talk to you next week.